channel?
I guess I could talk about being an alcoholic on the channel, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ragan and Chow. G'day.
Cheers, buddy. Hope everybody's kicking back with a nice cold beverage on a nice warm, dry day. It's miserable here in South Australia. How are we going over there in Queensland, mate?
Starting to feel like summer up here in Queensland. It's getting hot, 30 degrees.
Oh, I tell you what, we've had a couple of warm days, but the beauty of this place is, seriously, 3 o'clock every afternoon, the wind rolls through, it could be 40 degrees, and it still just drops. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, the weather in here around about 3 or 4 o'clock is pretty good, I got to say. But at lunchtime today, it was just hot and horrible, sweaty, super humid. So it is what it is.
Terrible news. But, I do want to just touch on something right here, right now. In the background, that JB bag that's been floating around for the entirety of our series, it seems a little light and empty. It's getting a bit of a draft there, and it's wanting to take off. What's happened? Have you taken things out of it? Have you moved it?
It has. It's got an aircon unit above it that keeps blowing on it.
Yeah, but that aircon unit's been there forever and a day, and I know you don't sweat too much, so it's always on.
You're right, mate. Nothing makes me sweat. Smooth as silk.
It's because you don't do hard work.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, typical. But, we should probably fire into a subject. So have you got a red hot topic for us to...
Oh, I have, actually. I've got one that's been given to us by one of our viewers named Jaffe.
Jaffe.
And his question was, would you mind discussing manscaping? And I thought, that's not a bad subject. I've got something pretty funny to tell you about manscaping. Do you want to know my first attempt at manscaping?
Well, hold on. This is right on point. If anyone has been following the channel, you'll know that I've had a pretty rank beard going on for a while. Yeah. So I've changed it up. Oh, you know what? Got a bit of a rowing from my mother when we were on holidays. She wasn't too pleased with it. The wife's made a couple of subtle comments, but just recently I was walking around. We went to a local market here in Virginia and happened to come across my wife's boss and his wife, and we were chatting away, and she explained that she'd seen my flyer come out in the mail and how professional I looked, and that she'd be happy to buy insurance off me as per the flyer, but looking at my head, she probably wouldn't be. She followed up very quickly. I said, I'm just kidding. I'm like, yeah, you're not, though.
No, you're not. It's not a good look. You look homeless with a beard.
I don't grow a good beard, no. But we're straying from the point. So hit me up with your little story that you had locked and loaded there.
I'll tell you my true manscaping story. I thought I'd have an attempt to clean up down there.
Now, hold on. Just for reference, how long ago are we talking? Are we talking like in your 20s or a couple of months ago? Spice things up with the wife. What's the story?
5 years ago.
5 years ago? So back in your 60s? Yep.
Yeah. You prick. Something like that.
Back when I was 13 and you were doing that? Yeah.
Are you legal drinking age?
I'm drinking, so that's got to be a good sign, right?
Anyway, so you know those like sideburn trimmers you get and stuff like that with the little blades that go like that?
Yeah.
They've got those little teeth there that go backwards and forwards and sort of...
Yeah, that's what the Chow removed his beard with, but I also share it with my little Pomeranian-looking dog.
Right. Well, I thought I'll have a go at one of those manscaping, right? And so down she goes.
Can I just throw a bit of a prediction in here? It involves blood, doesn't it?
It does. So there it goes down onto the sausage, and straight away she's bitten in, and blood's just pissing everywhere. Now, you have no idea how much that particular appendage bleeds if it wants to. A lot.
No, I do. So,
that was my first experience with manscaping. I was like, I can't believe people actually do this for any particular reason. Nothing's worth this.
You know what? I'll give you a bit of story time from the Chow days. Back when I was in my 20s, so 2 years ago, before I met my wife and before I settled down and stopped caring about how I looked, back in those days, I used to get the full chest, nuts, and ass waxed. And that was only after a little experience where I tried the clippers. And yeah, great idea. You're doing a bit of work. You're sort of seeing what's going on. You go down that shafted sort of area, and then everything starts to sort of come together and a point there, and there's a bit of loose skin. And yeah, no, I got a good pinch there, and you're right, that area does tend to have a bit of a bleeding ability. So I very quickly went away from that, but I really enjoyed the waxing, and I thought I looked beautiful, especially to the point that as soon as you have a wax, number one, you have a fart, and those cheeks are just slapping. Like that's the loudest, most clear fart you'll ever do. As for your general junk area, when you go to have a piss, you look down and go, that reminds me of something.
So
that was my 20s.
I've heard some people do it just so that it looks bigger.
Yeah, look, that's never been really my issue. When when you're stacked like the chow, you got what you got.
Stacked with the junk, you reckon, mate?
But no, I used to enjoy it. My wife says, no, it makes you look like a child. So since then, I've stopped doing it.
That's a road you don't want to go down. Let's just leave that one alone. But I had to go
getting
my back
enough
waxed.
Incentive to stop doing it.
I had to go getting my back waxed.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Took about an hour to do it. Most excruciating pain I think I've ever been through. And
again, I just want to get some clarity here. Did it take an hour because of how hairy you are? Because of how many times you tried to run away, or the inadequacy of the person doing the wax job?
No, mate, it's because of the amount of hair. Was it your daughter
doing, a bit of afternoon crafts? Just
I'm like a gorilla. That's why they call me Ranger, remember?
Dear.
The amount of hair that was there, and for about the next 6 weeks, all I had was a back covered in pimples. It was terrible.
Yeah, well, you think of it, you think about that image, but then apply it to your ass and your junk, and that's what once every couple of months the chow would look like.
So you did, what do they call it? The wax back and crack, or wax sack and crack,
or something? Crack wax, yeah.
You did that one. Oh no. So did they actually put wax on your sausage or not?
Yeah, and you know what the weirdest part was? Apart from all the other weird things that the chow does, one of my main people that I used to get my waxing done was close to home. But the only reason I knew that she did male waxing was because it was the woman that my mother used. And then you'd sit in a room for an hour or so with this person waxing your genitals and your asshole and all the rest of it. And you'd be having conversations about the family because she knew half the family, because obviously she'd have the same long conversations with mum. And you'd be talking, and she was like a 60-year-old woman too. So no risk of any inappropriate raising of anything when things are going on. But it's a weird situation to sit there and let a 60-year-old woman handle your junk while you're just having a conversation about your family.
Mate, that leads me on to another question, which I'll save for the next Ranger and Chow, but it's a good one too.
I've got to say though, it's an expensive process for a bloke to get his bits and pieces tidied up, but as the person doing that job, I don't think it's enough money to get that paddle pop stick and wipe hot wax around someone's genitals and asshole. It's how do you put a price tag on that?
How do you indeed?
I've never been over the $40 odd an hour as a rate, and they'd probably sit around the $120 an hour, and that's still not enough money. Like the chow considers himself a pretty good looking bloke, and she'd be lucky, but not everyone's as fortunate. And wow, what a job. All right, well, I think we've definitely covered manscaping.
Yeah. By the way, everybody, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe.
Check out our Patreon page. And if you're enjoying the content, guys, just keep listening along and keep us kicking along.
Cheers for yours.
Cheers, buddy. Appreciate you.
Catch you on the next one.
I doubt it. I'm pretty fast, Waxing.
Women don't love that.